All right. Final story of the day. Final story of the day. So, as I've ventured more into political discussions, since this is an election year, and I did a piece on Trump and Kamala Harris, where I talk about both candidates as where they exist. Some of the things that are happening around the Kamala's authenticity issues, Trump's crazy appearance at the National Association of Black Journalists, which is still wild to me. And I've mentioned Project 2025, which to me is very significant. It's a huge tipping point. With the red team, I don't trust any of the Confederates around Trump. So there is a investigative study, investigation that went viral last night. And what they did was these guys went undercover and they interviewed the architects of Project 2025. And they talked about their relationship with the Trump administration and Trump himself. We're going to take a look at it. It's about 9 minutes long. I'm not going to talk too much. I'll comment here and there when I see stuff. But for those who might be interested in Project Veritas, for example, Project Veritas is a right-leaning investigative platform that, goes underground and they, catch people talking about the Russia hoax when it came to Trump or whatever. This is in that style. So let's take a look at it.
Two undercover reporters posing as donors are about to meet one of the key architects of Project 2025, the radical plan for Trump's second term, in a hotel suite rigged with hidden cameras.
Nice to meet you.
Would you like coffee or something?
I'd love coffee, yeah.
Meet Russ Vogt.
Russell Vogt, the former director of the Office of Management and Budget.
He's been called the most dangerous MAGA diehard you've never heard of.
I am opposed to the Department of Education because I think it's the Department of Critical Race Theory.
Department of Critical Race Theory. Critical Race Theory. The Department of Education is the Department of Critical Race Theory.
Vote, we're comrades in arms.
Formerly a cabinet member and chief lieutenant in the first Trump admin.
I want to thank Russ for doing an incredible job.
He was part of Trump's administration. So this guy was already in the previous Trump administration.
He now runs a group called Center for Renewing America,
An organization that I helped turn into the Death Star that is accomplishing all the debates that you are reading about. I think you have to rehabilitate Christian nationalism. You have the largest deportation in history.
Rehabilitate Christian nationalism. Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale.
Block funding for Planned Parenthood. I want to be the person that crushes the deep state.
Vogt is one of the key authors of the blueprint for a second Trump administration.
Project 2025.
It's an ambitious 920-page blueprint.
Like eliminating the Department of Education.
The mass firings of civil servants.
Banning access to the abortion pill and further restricting abortion rights.
In recent weeks, the plans have become so controversial that Trump has been forced to distance himself.
They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right. And they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 20.
What is the radical left's version of Project 2020, of getting rid of abortions, mass deportations, and the Department of Education? Like, what is the left's version of that? What would that be? Critical race theory? which is a college level courses. I mean, maybe what we're seeing their version of it is African-American, AP African-American studies programs that have been around forever. Maybe the Civil Rights Act is the left's version of that. I look at those things as good things, but it's interesting to hear him say that this is the opposite of this other side. I don't know what their Project 2025 looks like. If you guys have any thoughts on that, let me know.
25. Are you ready? I know nothing about Project 25. I haven't seen the document. I don't intend to really see the document.
But behind closed doors, Vogt tells us not to take Trump's disavowal seriously.
I expected to hear 10 more times from the rally, the president, distancing himself from the left's boogeyman at Project 2025.
Yeah. And you're not worried about that?
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
He's running against a brand. He is not running against any people.
Okay.
He is not running against any institutions. It's interesting, he's in fact not even opposing himself to a particular policy. Yeah. He's been at our organization, he's raised money for our organization, he's blessed it from the, I remember walking into our last day in office and told him what I was going to do. So he's very supportive of what we do.
Our investigation into Project 2025 began 2 weeks before the meeting with Vogt. At a conference for
I keep thinking they're going to say Vought. I love that show, The Boys, on Amazon. Vought is the global conglomerate that controls all the superheroes and stuff. Yeah, it's funny.
Religious nationalists in D.C.
The truth is, Christian nationalism is not a threat to American democracy. Christian nationalism founded American democracy.
Journalists from the Center for Climate Reporting have come posing as potential donors, looking to meet those involved in Project 2025. They're not hard to find. The Heritage Foundation, the group running the project, are here. So is Vogt's think tank. We make the acquaintance of Mika Meadowcroft, an author on Project 2025 and a close aide to Vogt. He tells us that Vogt is running the secretive second phase of Project 2025.
The second phase, was to break down actual policy packets and executive orders and public agenda items, things like that. That's been supervised largely.
The first phase of Project 2025 was a 922-page policy book published openly. The second phase is a comprehensive, concrete transition plan for each federal agency. These much more detailed plans are confidential.
Yeah, because obviously you want it to be FOIA-able. If you're familiar with the FOIA process, it's possible. Freedom of Information Act, yeah.
The Freedom of Information Act allows the public to request government communications, but Meadowcroft reveals they plan to avoid these rules.
Yeah, the goal is familiarize all the transition team people with these plans, but you don't actually send them to their working notes. Right. You could just give the handbooks to everyone. Be like, this is the game plan for the admin. Yeah. If the press knows that that's what you're doing, then they're going to immediately just say, I request all of your emails from Heritage. Okay. You work it.
I see.
So we'll see.
Interesting.
Meadowcroft offers to set up a meeting with his boss, Russ Vogt.
You couldn't put me in touch with somebody who looks after his diary or whatever.
Yes, you can put you in touch with his scheduler.
Amazing. Great.
So just tell me when to do that.
We want to meet the man writing the game plan for Trump's second administration. Vogt believes that in his first term, Trump's agenda was frustrated by what he calls the deep state. So Vogt is planning a radical centralization of government power under the president, firing civil servants and ending the independence of agencies like the FBI and DOJ.
I mean, that's the scary part too. FBI and DOJ are scary enough on their own. As separate entities, they're scary. As separate entities, the FBI has done some wild things as separate entities. Can you imagine if you allow whoever sits in the presidency to be able to directly control it? Oh, man. I mean, Trump said in that one thing, don't worry about voting. You never have to vote again. So who knows?
80% of my time is working on the plans of what's necessary to take control of these bureaucracies. And we are working doggedly on that, whether it's destroying their agency's notion of independence. They're independent from the president.
Vogt has also been preparing documents based on fringe legal theories, arguing the president has the power to use the military against protesters.
George Floyd obviously was not about race. It was about destabilizing the Trump administration. Right. We put out, for instance, a 50-page paper designed for lawyers to know that the president has, the ability both along the border and elsewhere to maintain law and order with the military, and that's something that it's going to be important for him to remember and his lawyers to affirm, but we've given them the case for that.
With loyalists installed in key government agencies and armed with his playbook, Vogt believes a radical Christian nationalist agenda can be realized under a second Trump presidency. For example, on abortion.
So I think the president's actually come up with a strategy that works so long as you are giving people like me in the government the ability to block funding for Planned Parenthood, block funding for fetal tissue research. But what I've told people is he had the most pro-life record ever. I've never seen him to stand in the way of a pro-life initiative that actually was real, politically and with momentum.
And
I mean, that's going to be a tough one for the red team in these elections. Women are upset. Women, they've been losing midterms. You know, they've been the elections since then. They've been losing, just one-off elections in different districts. To me, that's the biggest thing the red team has to get past. The fact that the previous Trump administration put all these handmaid tale sounding judges on the Supreme Court. You've got Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas taking all kinds of gifts. They're taking all kinds of gifts from crazy people. This is a compromised Supreme Court, and they're not recusing themselves from any of these rulings. And you've got a handmaid's tale Supreme Court that struck away Roe v. Wade, and now on the state level, you're having bounty hunters out here chasing women, following women who might be leaving the state to go handle their medical needs. That is the thing the red team's got to get past. And, Project 2025, that's a huge part of their plan.
For Vote, Trump's pick for vice president shows he's serious about pushing this ideological agenda when in power.
So I am very happy with the JD pick. I think it's transformative for sure. Yeah. And think of him as a member version of what we do.
Yeah.
So there's no think tank, no policy organization, no battle plan creator other than us for the worldview that I think Donald Trump has and that JD has.
JD is such a weird guy. This is the guy who got accused of writing in a book about smashing his couch, belly smacking with his couch. I think that was proven false. But it's just it's funny watching him speak. They asked him, why would a voter want to have a beer with him? He said, well, I think it's because I actually like beer. I mean, I don't know. J.D. Vance is such a weird pick, but he's starting to parrot a lot of these, I consider radical, crazy ideas. And there's been reports that Trump's sons were the ones who really like J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance isn't polling well. A lot of conversations within the red team are like, why do we pick this guy? He's so weird. He can't talk. He doesn't present well. But Trump's sons are really the proponents to get J.D. Vance on the Trump ticket reportedly. And maybe this is why, because this guy here is saying that he loves the J.D. Vance pick because J.D. Vance espouses this similar worldview. And so maybe it's a Heritage Foundation pick at the end of the day.
But as public backlash against these plans builds, the Trump campaign has been scrambling to distance themselves from Project 2025's authors.
It's complete and utter bullshit for any reporter to write that this is the way it is. The president's made it clear these people do not speak for him. They do not speak for the campaign.
But Vote tells us that behind the scenes, things are much friendlier. The Trump campaign recently picked him to write the Republicans' policy platform, making him essentially Project 2025's man on the inside.
I think the best example is the campaign selected me to be the platform because of their views on my policy ideas, and they're not running from all of the negativity that I get from the press.
I see. So they haven't been spooked on you as a person, you don't think?
No, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be their transition pick because then they have all these kinds of stories.
Yeah.
But no, the relationship is great.
The head of the Trump transition team has not yet been appointed, but Vote says that no matter who is named, he'll be able to hand over his Project 2025 battle plans directly.
If it's someone like Stephen Miller or Bob Lighthizer, then all this stuff gets plugged right in. If it's not, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
But all of it will be designed for a theory of the case that if a battle plan is out there that would do what he wants, there are people like me that have his trust that we'll be able to get it to him. in whatever position we're at, or I could be at Center for New America, but the relationships will be there, the trust level will be there.
Project 2025's Radical Phase 1 policy book turned into a PR disaster.
The director of Project 2025 has stepped down after facing criticism from both Democrats and the Trump campaign.
But Vote's Phase 2 battle plans, top secret and handed directly to the transition team, remain unburdened by the brand.
And are you going to rebrand that second phase at all?
For what I do,
Yeah.
the brand's not important.
And you're not worried that if it has Project 2025 on, he's going to go and you're not going to publish those?
No.
They go straight to...
Yeah, they're very, very close hold.
Okay.
Brilliant. It's been an education.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Anytime.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
You can show us that.
Okay, just upstairs.
You could show yourself out, I guess. Oh my gosh, kick the man out the place. Man, I mean, this is crazy stuff. I mean, I think when we say "Make America Great Again," I don't think that's just a catchy slogan. I think it speaks to a lot more. That was a big debate during the first Trump administration. When was America great? And for a lot of the people that are around Trump, it was great when it was just white males running everything. That's not even a controversial statement. And I think a lot of these people around him are advocating for that. We're seeing a lot of, maybe this is the first time in 3 generations where people born, the millennials are the first generation to have less rights than when they were born, especially women. So there's a lot of big things at play. Like I said, I don't trust anybody around Trump. I don't trust none of these Confederates. All these look like Confederate ideas to me. I grew up in the South, and I know that they don't play. So let me know what you guys think about this. This is actually pretty interesting reporting. I'm used to seeing Project Veritas do this kind of stuff. I'm not necessarily as used to seeing people who are critical of right-leaning politicians do the same. My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel, follow at The Company Man on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, y'all, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.